A New York man attempted to use artificial intelligence to make his case in court, but it did not go over well with the judge. Take a listen.
May it please the court. I come here today a humble pro se before a panel of 5 distinguished justices.
Hold on. Is that counsel for the case?
Yeah, New York appeals court was set to hear from a plaintiff in an employment dispute. The court had given Jerome DeWalt permission to play a video with his arguments since he had no lawyer. But what they didn't know was that he was going to use an avatar generated by AI to argue his case.
It would have been nice to know that when you made your application. You did not tell me that, sir. I received the application. And you have appeared before this court and been able to testify verbally in the past. You are not going to use this courtroom as a launch for your business, sir.
DeWalt says he didn't mean any harm. He says the avatar would have been able to deliver his case without his own usual mumbling or tripping over words. Now let's bring in Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes into this conversation. And Khalif, the AI-generated lawyer, it sparked a lot of controversy. Talk about the judge's actions and why she shut it down so quickly. She had every right to do so, but what did DeWalt need to disclose?
Well, I don't even know what he would have needed to disclose, anything disclosure, if he used that AI avatar. The judge probably still would have declined his request. So I don't think it was the disclosure. I think that this is something brand new. And every day I think I've seen it all. I wake up and I can see something new. The legal process is old, it's historic, it's glacier pace. But technology doesn't move like that. Technology moves extremely fast. It's new, it's innovative. You're always trying to find cutting edge ways to improve on how we live as humans. But trying to find its way in the courtroom is always poking its ugly head. And the judge really did not have time at all. I mean, what I did notice, because this is about my 50th time watching it, is if you look in the corner of the video, when she goes to say, "Is this counsel?" there's a pause icon that pops up. So he was listening and watching and recognized, I better shut this off really fast because she's about to shut this down.
You mentioned something a little bit about the technology. We're seeing the conversion over to e-courts, and it's kind of like this has been a slow process because you still, in some counties, still have to go to the county courthouse to actually get your court document.
And even with e-courts, it's still problematic. And I'm glad you raised it. I was in court this week, and I'm recognizing that even though we in Mecklenburg County are an e-court system, I had the papers in my hand, and then they were scanning the papers into the system. So even though, and that's the double downing of how this is glacier pace, even though everything is e-filing, even though it's all electronic, I still generated it. I created it with a piece of paper that I had my client physically sign, and then we added it. But even that process, there's a ton of kickback and pushback from e-courts being implemented. But this AI implementation is totally different. You've seen the courts rejected a number of times when AI cited cases.
Yes.
Obviously, because you have to worry of hallucinations, making up fake cases. But in this situation, I think the issue that we haven't raised, and this would be if I represented him, is that you have the Americans with Disability Act. He had cancer. His throat has problems with, talking for long lengths of time. I think because of that, I think that's problematic for a number of reasons, for shutting down his disability and specifically attempting to tell him if it's a disability or not, because part of her argument was, you've spoken before in the past. Your ability to speak before in the past is now somehow negating your true disability. I think if he wanted to challenge it, I think that could be problematic on the judge's path, because you can't dictate the disability. As long as they identify disability, the law requires you have to honor and make reasonable accommodations for the disability.
And even though it's AI, we've seen it before in some cases, we saw it in this case, we will likely see it again, right?
I mean, as technology increases, the idea that AI will pop up its head is inevitable. At some point, you will see judges, like in other countries, in India, for instance, judges now use AI to help them get to their rationale and their reasoning. I think in America, you will see something at some point, but there will still be a human fingerprint, footprint on it for sure.
Okay. Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes, thanks.